Hey, so sometimes my kids say really cool shit, and I thought, I wonder how many people are actually listening to their kids. Like, really, really having conversations with them where they're hearing what they say. And this means like just random things that they may be saying about past life memories. It could be something that they're talking about what they've had as a dream. Um, but one day, for example, my daughter was at her cousin's house and they had this like just game that they made up. They had this whole world that they made up in their imagination. And so when she came home, she told me about this whole entire game. But the game sounded so intricate. There were so many details to these worlds that they had created in their imaginations, um, that I thought, and the story took a long time for her to tell me. So I thought, why don't you write this all out? And it could be a story, like a book for somebody. So an imagination, a perspective from a child's imagination created into a book. So everything that came up for them in their game that they made up has now become an opportunity for someone else to enjoy that. I just need to help my dog again. Here you go, babe. So what after all of that happened, we were watching something on Gaia about inner earth and plant life and stuff like that. And it was very interesting. And while we were watching it, she said that he was describing this world that her and her cousin had created in their minds. The plants, the fact that it was under Mars, and like there was so much to it. And these are the same things that this guy was talking about on Gaia. So they both have never seen this interview before. I thought it was pretty neat because I feel like possibly what was happening is she was having a memory, a cellular memory, um, of another lifetime or a visitation she had done. So possible astral projection to another place, teleportation, or time travel. I said something like that to her about time travel, and she was like, no, it wasn't time travel, it was teleportation, like very matter of factly. And I thought, kids know things, they remember things. They're fresh from the other side. They're fresh from whatever multidimensional worlds. I mean, there's so much more out there than what we've been led to believe in, and there's so much more out there that is even beyond our understanding. And the things that kids say sometimes can really, really give us glimpses into things. And they might sound crazy to us because that's not what we've been programmed to believe in, or even acknowledge the concept that there is these like other worlds type places, or other lives, or other dimensions and stuff, because we weren't taught about that stuff. That's not typical school system information. So I just thought it was cool because there's many, many times where the kids tell me about their dreams that they've had, and about ideas they've had, or just like matter of fact information that sounds like cuckoo at the time. And you're like, huh, well, and then you kind of catch a glimpse of some truth about it. And you're like, they just know things. And it's very fascinating, and we can actually learn a lot from them and just ask questions and be open. And I think the problem with our generation is that stuff, anytime we had, we saw a spirit, or, we had imaginary friends, and oh, that's not real, and shut it down. No, you didn't hear another voice, and all of those things that shut us down so that we would stop asking questions. We would stop sharing this information. We don't want to look stupid. So why would we say things that come to us? Why would we say things that we've seen? We don't want anyone to think we're crazy. So we shove it all down. So I encourage you, if you have kids or have kids in your life in some way, shape, or form, whether you're a teacher at school or you're a parent or a caregiver or a grandparent, really, really listen, and listen with an open mind and an open heart, because most of the stuff they're saying could be possibly true, and you don't know 100% that it's not. So squashing these ideas or these things that they say or see or know, is really doing a disservice to the next generation. because they need to be free to speak up. They need to be free to just say what they see and be who they are. And I think the problem with our generation is that we weren't quite allowed to do that. It was like, no, don't speak about that. The neighbors will think we're crazy. Oh, we don't want to be ousted from our family. Like, who the hell cares? We're in a time where we have to just be our core authentic selves. And if we're not doing that, and if we're teaching our kids that they can't do that, then what are we doing? Like, think about it. Listen to the kids. They have cool shit to talk about. They have knowledge that we haven't even touched on ever in our lives. They have knowings that are really, really regular to them. It's if we tell them it's not regular, and if we don't want them to be regular. I don't want my kids to be regular. I never have. But if we tell them they have to be quiet, don't say that around people. Don't, and then they're not being true to themselves. Guess what happens? They're going against the grain of who they authentically are. They're making that friction and creating that dis-ease in who they are, which creates a dis-ease in their body. We're done with that. That's old school. That's 3D crap. We're not going forward anymore with that. So let's leave that behind. Let's stop worrying about what people will think and let the kids speak up. Let the kids just discover their own worlds. And it's really, really fascinating. And write down what the things that they say. Write down what dreams they tell you about, because they're messages. These kids know more than what we do. All right, that's all.